There is mounting outrage and pushback tonight over this big scandal, Donald Trump's attempted money grab. He wants your tax dollars. This has only come out because of this New York Times bombshell report that basically the White House is, through Donald Trump, seeing if he can get away with this, seeing if he can pocket over 200 million taxpayer dollars by taking it from the DOJ. If that sounds like something odd that you've never heard about before in American history, that's because it's never happened. And I have more on that historical comparison tonight. But first, here is the pushback. Congressional Democrats launching an investigation into this, quote, shakedown of taxpayer dollars as a constitutional violation. And lawmakers in both parties are reacting to a scandal that is clearly rocking the Trump White House. Even some MAGA Republicans basically trying to duck this rather than face what is an obvious grift.
How comfortable are you with the president apparently seeking $230 million from the Department of Justice?
I don't know the details about that.
That seems outrageous. The president is asking his own Justice Department to give the president money?
Unless it's something that's done in the normal course of business, and I don't believe that it is, if at the very least, it's horrible timing, given that we're in a shutdown.
I didn't talk with him about that. I know that he believes he's owed that reimbursement.
It seems a bit odd to me.
Asking his Justice Department to find a settlement that will enrich the president.
I've got a lot of optics concerns, and I just don't know if there's precedent for it.
There is no precedent for it. You could probably tell who the Republicans were in that medley, but they didn't have any there defending this outright. No president has tried anything this brazen. Trying to seize over $200 billion in taxpayer money is obviously unethical. It is an ethics violation to abuse government power to enrich yourself, full stop. It's also very likely unlawful. No president has tried, so we don't exactly have some clear court precedent on how much money you could just try to seize or take out of taxpayer grifting, but certainly not $230 million. And history is instructive. No one has come close to what Trump is trying. Richard Nixon famously faced blowback when he was the nominee for vice president, and it was over about $18,000 in alleged gifts. He gave a national address over the scandal, and he famously tried to say that the problem alleged that he was taking, $10,000+ wasn't true, the very opposite of Trump today, and that the main gift he took was his dog named Checkers.
I'm sure that you have read the charge and you've heard it, that I, Senator Nixon, took $18,000 from a group of my supporters. The question is, was it morally wrong? Not 1 cent of the $18,000 or any other money of that type ever went to me for my personal use.
You see the denial. He was saying, hey, he didn't take any of the money, the $18,000. Trump is pursuing the opposite, trying to take it for himself, and it's $230 million. If you go back to the 1960s, there was a Supreme Court justice who was caught taking about a $20,000 retainer. And it was such a big scandal that you would have that much government power but still be trying to take outside money. He ultimately resigned over the obvious ethics violation. If you check the numbers, Trump isn't seeking 100 times that amount or 500, but actually over 1,000 times that amount in these taxpayer funds. He's going to see if he can get away with taking your money. In 1981, a judge ultimately ordered Vice President Agnew to repay over $200,000 that he took in alleged bribes, which were determined to ultimately have belonged, that money, to the people of Maryland. Much like the federal money belongs to the people of the United States, not to politicians who are temporarily in power. Now, you might have cynics who say, well, that was then. I guess things have changed. Things are different now. And Trump and his family make money off business while their father's in government. They make money off crypto and the hotels, so maybe they can start just taking it from the taxpayers, too. Maybe they want people to get that cynical, but it's also off base, even if some people want us to give up or go downhill, because I want to show you, in Donald Trump's first term, he ousted 2 cabinet officials over these types of money and ethics scandals. He, Donald Trump, whether it was the bad press or the optics or the ethics, but he ultimately said no to these officials who were caught with allegations about misusing about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of that, by the way, in fairness, was paid back, and we're not talking about $200 million. So few may remember the exact people involved, Price and Pruitt. Their grift scandals were too much even for this same president, at least when it came to him getting in trouble or bad press for this type of enrichment. The recent talk that Trump may take these millions from taxpayers, but what if he didn't take them personally? What if he put it to a charity? That's one of the defenses now floating, which again is a sign that things still matter and maybe they don't want to go forward with the original enrichment plan, but that wouldn't address the ethics here at all. Because if he takes the taxpayer money, it's not his money, whether he uses it for a charity or something else. And I would remind you, in the past, he has taken these type of formats and used the money to enrich himself. So what he called a charity ultimately led to the shuttering of the Trump Foundation because of credible allegations about misuse, what the Times reported on as a pattern of illegality. Congressional Democrats say their probe on this tonight is serious. If they win in the midterms, well, then this could be something that they probe with the full subpoena power of a majority in the House. And so amidst this shutdown, we should note that Donald Trump is demolishing a very treasured, visible sign of American democracy, a big piece here of the White House. In fact, what I'm showing you to make the point here are live pictures. So this is literally what they're doing in the evening in the people's house. Tearing down the East Wing for plans to spend $250 million on a ballroom that this politician, this president has chosen. No sign that they are doing any of the austerity they're asking public employees and others to do during the shutdown that they have ordered. The facade is a pile of rubble. The entire wing is set to be demolished within days. Trump had claimed that the historic structure would not have met this fate. He literally said that what you see on your screen wasn't going to happen.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite place. I love it.
False. It is, as you see, affecting the existing building. Trump brandished plans moments ago in the Oval Office for this ballroom. He's also said, and keep in mind, during the shutdown, he's trying to take money for himself from the DOJ. He's got his plans here. But he says somehow there'll be no cost. The project's funding, he says, will be completely absorbed by private companies and donors. One problem, though, about how you calculate costs, those are individuals who might be doing this to get favorable treatment by or leverage over Trump. CBS reports those donors could have their names etched inside the public White House building or on a website. No final decisions on that. Also unclear whether this is ultimately good for the taxpayer or America if these people are using money this way. Now, that donor list includes many different corporations, including the parent company of MSNBC, a note we wanted to include. But there's also other secrecy of things we don't know about. The White House says the building plans will be submitted for some kind of review soon. Okay, but as we showed you, they're already demolishing things. So whatever review that is doesn't involve a lot of oversight. He's already broken one public vow about this, which suggests that maybe Donald Trump, who doesn't like oversight and thinks his ideas are great, had some inkling that interfering with what the White House has long looked like for the public, for tourists, for Americans, wouldn't be a good look for him. As Rachel has said, this also serves up a metaphor.
Trump literally today sent a rental backhoe to physically rip down the East Wing of the White House. Donald Trump is literally destroying the people's house because apparently he thinks it's his house and not ours, and I'm guessing he has no intention of moving out of it ever.
The point is literal. It is a residence for the temporary official elected by the people. But decisions about it, of course, should involve the public and the Congress because it ain't your house. Now, there are some more temporary revisions that you could just debate as a matter of style. This president has made the Oval Office a little more gold, and that's well within his rights because it's not some demolition. Someone else can come in and redecorate. He's also already paved over the Rose Garden, giving it that look. And he's made it more of a social club, that garden area. fitting sort of his club style. But we're not talking about gold drapes right now. We're talking about semi-permanent or permanent changes to the White House, which again is nobody's property but the public. Last week, there were plans discussed to erect a big monument of Donald Trump himself.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's keep it going. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Take a look. Location.
Thank you, guys.
It's going to be a beautiful.
You could see a bit of the tension there while Donald Trump wants to talk about the beautiful monument that he's planning, and the press staff, who might know something about how this plays, are trying to get everybody out of the room. Let's not talk about it. We're talking about the physical infrastructure of things that are clearly at odds with democracy as a project where no person is permanent, not in terms of power or their stamp on what we understand to be our democratic institutions and, yes, our even buildings that house them, from the Capitol to the White House.